people feel a need to be with other people. There's the creation of a community there where there was once just sort of a public park. You have, on the one hand, people who are very clear about why they're there. And then other people just kind of gravitate there. Some because they're homeless, some because they're crazy, some because they're curious. And somehow, right, in the sparkling of all of this curiosity and just these collisions of ideas, more and more people feel compelled to go down there.
People are taking the time to occupy this space that is allotted before us. But what one man did make sense about is that Wall Street is not, this is part of Wall Street, but this is not Wall Street itself. And he once said that an occupancy is to forcefully, possibly to take over a space that is not supposed to be yours. That is what occupy means.
My goal is to get out to others, that is the 99%, and let them know that if we voice our opinion in a non-violent way and stand up for what you believe in and not let the corporates take out the smaller guys that is hurting us for our economy, that your voices can be heard and that is actually more stronger than you think.
In some marvelously unorchestrated way, they've made their way there, almost like medieval pilgrims, right? And they've done it in a way that is sort of without a plan, and initially without an agenda. And it's occurred sort of in these small increments. And that what that has given rise to is a voice of frustrations on multiple levels, as well as hopes on multiple levels, that I don't think you could have achieved if you had simply said, we have an organization, we have 10 points, or we have 14 points, we're going to rally around those 14 points, and then we are going to let one of the traditional political parties, be our voice in Congress. Congress seems at a stalemate. And I know kind of an old rule, of history is wherever you see students gathering, never underestimate them. Always take them seriously. Because to dismiss them, whether it's in the 1820s or it's in the 1960s, is to do so at your peril. And in the same way, other social movements, they often begin in this unarticulated way.
I like that you can talk about anything you want to, and that it's taken sort of seriously, and that people are just sort of, always already interested in what you have to say here. I'm just here just to kind of watch, and I've been following it all online and everything, and all kind of like the initial sort of like condemnation and projection of like just sort of like the hippie, vegan, like feminist kind of debacle that it could be, and I've been just really excited to come see that if it is kind of the area of speech and dialogue that it claims to be.
When it comes to the president, for example, or the Democratic Party, or any political party out there, I think that the best thing for them to do is show a healthy respect and stay away. Because I tell you this, nobody here is ready, willing, and able, or will allow this movement, this energy, to be co-opted by any other existing entity.
No, there was no leaders, there were only facilitators, to my knowledge, what I've seen so far. But to put some emphasis on your question, I will tell you, to get a leader is kind of a risky situation because of the differences of opinion. There's a whole bunch of differences of opinion, and that's what causes problem and turmoil.
And he said, very often there's like this mentality of, take me to your leader. The press arrives, or the politicians arrive, and kind of like who's in charge. I think the thing about people's movements is that, you're an autonomous actor acting with other folks.
Occupy Wall Street is a little bit different. Their goals are not yet truly set about what they truly want. And that's one of the conflicting reasons that are going on inside this place right here.
They're being worked out right now, and not on anybody's timetable. There are so many areas that people are interested. Many people are interested in one or two. Many are interested in several.
What are you interested in?
I'm interested in consciousness. That's probably my number one. I'm certainly interested in political reform, and I'm interested in all the places that bleeds into. But until and unless we infuse what we're doing with a degree of consciousness and deliberateness and intention, I think we would make a mistake.
I would say that the goals are one of justice. There's a serious problem of economic injustice. I graduated $3,000 in debt to a 3% loan. I had to pay $30 a month on it. It was easy. It was terribly non-onerous. It was what a student debt should be. So my nephew, he graduates from Virginia Tech. He's $60,000 in debt. I talked to somebody who was $100,000 in debt. That's like a house. Now, how would you like to just get through school, you know, and you're in debt to the tune of a house, but you don't have a house?
Wall Street itself didn't do nothing to me. It's the people who own and run Wall Street that have done things to the people itself, dealing with the banking systems and creating debt. Protests? I don't really protest. I don't march. I talk. I exchange knowledge and I give people knowledge.
A lot of people feel that the time spent here would be better spent proposing solutions rather than tearing down the government and saying, you know, change.
That is absolutely right. That is absolutely right. Because you sitting here talking about what they're doing while they're still doing it, it's not solving anything. At least try and go against what's suppressing you. But people just want to sit here and exchange ideas all day and talk about the same old thing, and they don't get nowhere. Because you're not making a solidified plan. You're just going based off what he feels and what you feel.
Let's look at Europe and see how they send their kids to school. Let's look at Europe and see how they provide health care for their citizens. Let's look at Europe and why are they not in the kind of economic pickle that this nation is and this government is? Because they're not living beyond their means like we've been doing.
So I walk around here and I hear conversations and I hear somebody talk, for example, about, well, how do we make a corporation that's capitalistic and also sustainable that we would feel good about? Well, those models exist. People have been, pioneers have been at it for decades. Those things exist. So now what we're seeing is political will for those things.
How about you stop with the social class stuff and try and make it equal for everybody, including the taxes, because that's what I heard from a lot of people. They want equal taxes for everybody, including the rich. And why not make more opportunities? And not only jobs, but opportunities, period.
We have to start changing people's behavior, and in a free country like this, I don't know exactly how to do it. I'm not too fascistic about it. Like I don't believe that we should arrest people for not recycling, but maybe we should make them pay bigger taxes if they don't recycle.
Well, I think everything's broken. I think our financial system is broken, our political system is broken, how we educate ourselves is broken, how we take care of ourselves with healthcare is broken. It's all broken.
And if there's one thing that people can focus on as a way of sort of finding the sore spot, finding the sort of the common ground, Wall Street has provided that, because Wall Street also seems to be at the heart of the financial ruin and at the shaky markets. And in some ways, you know, Wall Street was once the sort of the symbol of American power, the symbol of American, you know, might, the symbol of American creativity, the great, you know, generator of wealth. It was even a great symbol of mobility.
This is obviously a very interesting piece of history happening at this time, and it's good history. It's a history that should be happening. And so when there is history that's happening and it's good history that's happening, it's good for people to join in that history.
Criticize something, you have to learn and get education about it. You have to come down to find out what the cause is, like you're doing now. You can't criticize something that you don't know about. You can't take what you see on the outer shell and judge what is in the inner shell. You have to actually know what's inside and what's the motivating us. That's what motivating us. And you'll find out that it's the cause.